Hello, Tim here. Welcome to my channel. In today's episode, I'm taking a little different turn than I've ever talked about before, and that's woodworking movies. It's going to be my top 5 movies that I'd recommend. We're not talking about a DIY or a YouTube or a documentary of some woodworker. My criteria for my list is full-length dramas. The lead character is demonstrating at some point in the movie wood carving and or learning to do wood carving or woodworking, and there's elements of perseverance and maybe restoration, healing, forgiveness. Some of these probably are obscure, and there's certainly one I'd never heard of before. So the ones I'm going to list off for you, I'm starting at number 5 and going to number 1. And number 1, first of all, they've got to be entertaining too. And I think you'll agree with me, but I'd like to also hear what you have to say if you got other ideas. What I didn't include, I should also mention, is that scenes of movies like Robert Redford in The Natural, where he's making a bat or something like that. That's not what the movie is about, and he's not necessarily a woodworker. He's a baseball player. So the feature of each one of these that I'm going to mention, that's what they did. That's their occupation, and for whatever reason. But the stories are all different, and there's a common thread that you can kind of pick up on and why I chose them. So number 5, starting out, is The Doll Maker. And The Doll Maker is starring Jane Fonda. Came out in 1984. It's got some disturbing scenes in it. This takes place right after during World War II, where they're trying to find work, and there's shortages of supplies and food and gas rationing, all that kind of stuff. So it takes place in Appalachia, and she's got a Appalachian accent. And anyway, she is a wood carver, and the very first thing she does, I won't give it away, but she carves something that's kind of it's an initial disturbing kind of scene. It's well done, I would say, but it's not. You're not going to learn how to carve, and I do see some maybe misuse of the tools, not properly, and that's one of the things I kind of decided that, okay, these are actors, and they're not skilled woodworkers, so just take that aside. It's entertaining, so I'd recommend that one. The number 4 is called The Wood Carver, and this one has a lot more carving to it. It's a faith-based one, so it's kind of it's got a Christian message to it about a troubled kid that vandalizes a church. There's a elderly gentleman who's a widower, and he's a wood carver, and so some of the things he helps the kid get his life straightened out and teaches him some wood carving. And I think that's a really good one, really good family-oriented one. And it's a little bit Hallmark-like, but it's not totally predictable like Hallmark ones are. Another one that's very similar to Hallmark, I guess, but it's an older one. This is called Treasures of the Snow. That's my number 3. And Treasures of the Snow was filmed in Switzerland, and it was produced in 1980. So it's a lot older, and older film techniques, and some of the acting is maybe not as talented as like Jane Fonda's performance. Stars Paul Dean, though. He's gone on to do some other films. I've looked that up, but it's well done. It's a good story written by Patricia St. John, and it came out in the 1950s. Her story, and it's a pretty popular, kind of more kids related. It is a little bit of a surprise toward the end. So in that regard, it's an enjoyable movie. The number 2 is Still Mine. Stars James Cromwell. That came out in 2012. And that's that story, it's a love story. James Cromwell and the woman who plays his wife is Genevieve Bujold, if I pronounce her last name right. She's got dementia in this movie, and he was wanting to build a new house for her, but it shows the whole process of he's a carpenter, and he shows him cutting his own timber. This is based on a true story. Of all these, this is the only one of my list that's based on a true story. It takes place in Canada, and he's got all kinds of troubles with the authorities and so forth because he's milling his own timber. And it shows a sawmill, shows him building this house, and it's a kind of poignant, kind of touching story. But my favorite one, number one, is The Simple Life of Noah Dearborn. And I've watched this a number of times, and I've recommended it to other woodworker friends that have liked it. And it's stars Sidney Poitier. Came out in 1999. And it's a story of this, probably what I really resonate with. He's a senior citizen. He's old, never married, but he has this pretty cool shop in some location in Georgia. So the basic plot of the story: someone wants to push him off his land and put a high rise or develop it into something, but he just wants to live a simple life, and he's kind of a local folk hero around the town there. But what I like about that movie is his shop is non-electric, so he's doing things with foot treadle lathe and handwork and hand tools. He's got an old pickup truck with planes, molding planes in it, and a very opening scene, he's recreating a piece of molding on a historic building. So just, what's not to like about Sidney Poitier? He's a really good actor. And this is, like I said, done in 1999. So that's kind of my list. So the Doll Maker, Wood Carver, Treasures of the Snow, Still Mine, and Simple Life of Noah Dearborn. Those are my top 5. So if you got any recommendations for movies for me to watch that didn't make my list, please leave them down below, and I'll check them out. And if you decide to watch any of these movies, I'll have them linked below so you can watch the trailer. And I'd recommend making yourself some popcorn. So thanks for watching, and please give it a thumbs up, and please subscribe if you would, and we'll see you next time.